first off, man, appreciate you coming to sit down with us at the Sound Lounge. This right here is a new beginning for us at Mbase. We started off 2022, did a whole run, learning the business, learning the ins and outs of how to get this going, how to edit, how to market, how to do all of this. So with the 2020, it's basically like twofold for us because we coming at it at a different perspective of what we've learned to make this new, and we're also trying to give our audience the views of somebody who's in that position that they're aspiring to be in. You know what I'm saying? So it's a twofold thing for us on 2020. But first guest, special guest, my major appreciation to everything. Artimis, Peppa Williams, mouth of the motherfucking South.
You left something out. World famous, internationally known. Mouth of the South, baby.
Real talk, man. Been in the game for a lifetime, man. At least my lifetime for sure. Yeah. So many accomplishments, too many to name at this point. But we're gonna go down the line, man. We just gonna start from the beginning. And we just want to know, first off, what a little bit about your childhood molded you to be this person that you are right now.
Let me say, first of all, thank y'all for having me, man, and much success. And like I was telling you off camera, man, like in order for you to be successful, accomplish any type of goals you want in life, the simplest, easiest thing you got to be is persistent. And you most definitely was persistent and constantly calling, which I wasn't offended by, to get what you're trying to get. So that's gonna be the first thing you got to do to be successful and build y'all brand and what y'all trying to do. With that being said, my childhood, was a normal childhood. I grew up in Whitehaven. My grandparent grew up in South Memphis, so weekends I was in South Memphis, so I had a little bit of best of both worlds. I had a 9-to-5 working mom and daddy. Then I would go to my grandma's house in South Memphis, and just to realize and instill to me how blessed I really had it, you know what I'm saying? So I grew up next to the Fords when I was John Ford and Harold Fords and the politicians back in the day. And he used to drive all these Cadillacs and Mercedes Benzes and shit. I'm like, so I'm just growing up. I'm a normal high school, junior high kid. I'm like, damn, what he do? So, the older I got, I realized that they own funeral home. So I'm like, well, shit, I want to own a funeral home. It was that simple because that's what I saw. My story wasn't no, I saw drug dealers riding cars and then was the niggas in the neighborhood with money. No, my motherfucker was the nigga, my next door neighbor was a senator. And he owned the biggest funeral home in the city of Memphis. So I didn't understand politics at the time. So I said, well, I just want to own a funeral home because I'm seeing how this nigga come and dress and sharp cars he drive. And so, went to mortuary, graduated from high school, worked at Federal Express. No disrespect to people that work at FedEx. I knew that wasn't for me. Then went on to work in the hub worked in the hub at FedEx, and then end up going to the casino, working at the casino. Mosquitoes down there told me up in Tunica. They realized that wasn't for me. So my mama bought me a one-way plane ticket to Atlanta. Told me, you gonna get out of my house. That was the best decision my mama could ever made. She put me out. But it was good love though, tough love, like you finna get out there and get it. So I went to Atlanta, didn't know nobody, man. I supposed been going to mortuary school. End up finding a mortuary school. For y'all who don't know what mortuary school is, it's dealing with the dead people, man, funeral home business, man. Yeah, I went to mortuary school, man. Like, I know that's how my life started, but that ain't how the motherfucker ended. So, I went to mortuary school. At the same time I was in Atlanta in mortuary school, 3-6 Mafia was blowing up. Tear the Club Up was bubbling underground. So me and DJ Paul was childhood friends. We grew up in the same neighborhood. So when he would come down to Atlanta, he would call me. I would show them around. And so once I would show them around, I'm going to mortuary school. Then one day they was just like, man, won't you be our manager, man? And I was like, what is that? I never knew what a manager was. He was like, what you doing? Showing us around. I was like, all right, mortuary school, I ain't fucking with this. Manager going, taking these niggas club, little people knowing them. The rest was history. So, I ended up becoming 3-6 Mafia's manager. And that was the beginning of my introduction to the music business.
So that's interesting though, to not have no prior knowledge of what even a manager is and being able to jump in that role. That just shows that you already had a mind for business, in the first place. So was that like one of your talents or something as a kid? Did you notice you had like a talent for having certain business?
Well, no, I wouldn't say it was a talent. I just knew that, people used to always tell me I talked a lot, but in my early stages of my life, I didn't know that at the time that was my gift. I had the gift of gab. I discovered that later on down the line, So it was something fun I was doing. Like it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, just my partners. I see these niggas blowing up and, it was a position for me. Like they didn't really have no motherfucker to talk for them. So I was a nigga that would talk for them, go set everything up,
So you mentioned this already, like your the people who most influenced you as a child wasn't really like the normal thing that we see around this area, which is dope boys, gang bangers, whoop. You were more influenced by politicians, businessmen, people who was already, established and things like that. It's cool. So just to lighten it up a little bit, out of all those people you met, all those people you rubbed shoulders with coming up, like what was your most memorable? What had the biggest effect on you to say? I know you said the fours with the mortuary school, right? Obviously.
You talking about, so after I became 3-6 Mafia, then I just cover a little bit more. After I became 3-6 Mafia manager, we end up traveling the world. 3-6 Mafia, the rest is history for them. But then I ended up becoming the vice president of Def Jam South after that. And so when I became vice president of Def Jam South, I started really networking, meeting people. And so that's from like, I ended up meeting Damian Dash. Those were the people I looked up to, so I met Damian Dash, and the rappers really didn't really starstruck me because I wasn't no rapper. It was the more people that I was meeting behind the scenes, the Kevin Lyles, the Leo Coins, you know what I'm saying? So once I started meeting all of them, that was the turning point for me. But to answer your question, what was the turning point for me was when I became vice president of Def Jam South, and they sent a Learjet to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Told me, hey, we heard who you are. We want to fly you to New York. And so they put me on a Learjet. I fly to New York. Man, I'm talking about I'm introduced like I had a black car service. I go to the Def Jam building. This when Def Jam was the shit. Like Rockefeller, Jay-Z, DMX, got everybody. And so here they are saying like, man, we about to start a Def Jam South. And we familiar with who you are, what you do. We want to make you the vice president of Def Jam South. And the president gonna be Scarface. So we want to fly you to Houston tomorrow. So they put me back on a Learjet, shoot me to Houston. I touched down in Houston. Scarface picked me up from the private airport in the Bentley, ride around. We just vibing. You want to do this shit? Yeah.
How old was you, cuz?
About like 19 or 20, yeah.
How did that feel being up on the Scarface? Like, was it any like? Did you feel like, man, this motherfucking Scarface right here?
It was more so. It was just I was excited about what we was about to do. Like I said, I told you, rappers didn't impress me because he was a rapper. Like I knew who he was, but I was more excited about what we was about to do. You see what I'm saying? So when I realized that was the exciting part for me, what we was about to do.
So, okay, let me bring it back a little bit because we definitely gonna get more into the Def Jam thing.
Okay.
But back to 3-6. With that being the first management thing, never really knowing how to, do it before, getting into it, and it blows. Like, okay, the deal. How did that get set up? First deal.
First deal was we ended up doing a deal with Relativity Records. Relativity was the company who had at the time they had Bone Thugs and Harmony, 8 Ball and MJG, Yin Yang Twins, who else the motherfucker had? People from the West Coast. So like, you know, Relativity was like the shit. Like they had Suave House. This when 8 Ball and MJG coming out, Hard was out. So we just signed it in, yeah.
So did it go smoothly? Was it hard for you? You know, like how did that go?
Well, you know, once I got introduced to the business, I didn't know the business because I was still young. So it was a learning experience. So you have to be able to differentiate the difference of when stuff go wrong in your life, why is this going wrong? It's a purpose and a reason why it's going wrong. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's bad. So with that situation, I didn't have my paperwork right. We was all young and shit just happened where I ended up parting ways with them. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I thought my world was gonna come to an end, but I'm like, shit, these niggas the hottest motherfucking rap group out the South, right at they peak when they blow up. Now we fall out. You know, side note, a lot of times, artists the manager who they start with, they don't always end up with. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the business, you know what I'm saying? But if y'all become business partners and you structure something, it's a little bit more promising than but that's just the game, you know what I'm saying? So we ended up, it was a learning experience. It most definitely put me on a pedestal and a platform to start networking and create businesses for myself. And so that's when I ended up becoming more independent after 3 6 Mafia.
Okay, sure. That's definitely something that you hear all the time, especially on the manager side, those that are interested in getting in that pathway. You know, you get an artist, you build them up, you invest so much time, you invest so much money, and then, you know, eventually people do grow from. So you can't really just hold that against people, you know what I'm saying? Because people grow. But, you know, it is what it is. We see it all the time. I was leaning toward the camera. Anyway, hey, so with that first big check though, what y'all want to know?
Nigga, what year was you pulling up in this damn Hummer?
Yeah, that was like after that was before Def Jam and stuff. That was right after 3 6 Mafia. This company had hired me to basically run their promotion. So they paid me to run their promotions. And so dude just had a bunch of money, man. And this is like nobody had them. This the real Hummers, the military motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So like, the man just gave me the money. We were about to hum out the showroom floor. That motherfucker was like $180,000, $200,000. This is real talk. The real Hummers. This dude just had a bunch of money, man. Shout out to my man 40 Street Records, man.
40 Street, shout out. So let me get it straight though. The first big check really wasn't from the 3 6 deal.
Hell no. It wasn't no motherfucking check. But you couldn't pay me for the experience and the knowledge and the relationships. So if you was to ask me, Peppa, would you have rather size them niggas paid you or got some money? I would tell you, pay me or have the experience and the knowledge that I gained. I would have took that because that's what made Peppa who he is today. Because guess what? It's a lot of niggas that got checks from them niggas. Man, them niggas ain't nowhere now, man. I'm 25 motherfucking years still in this shit and still going.
So the first big purchase when you got after 3 6, when you started doing promotions.
Yeah. Because people start paying me because they start seeing my value. Right. Once they know who you are and your resume speak for itself, can't nobody take that away from you.
So that's what we was getting out of this. Promotional, like the Cash Money jackets, the Warner Brother jackets.
Paying me. I had a promotion company. Cause by the time I got to a 3-6 Mafia, everybody knew, man, it was this nigga down in Memphis named Peppa. Man, that nigga promoting. They saw what I did at 3-6 Mafia. So they wanted to pay me to do the same thing for them.
And that was actually like my next question, like what was the big lesson learned? So I guess that pretty much is like the knowledge that you learned, the connections was able to get you to that next chapter.
They sell their soul, man, for nothing. You don't want to sell your soul, man.
All right, so just to touch on it though, because it's out there. What are your thoughts on the verses? The 3-6 verses. Yeah.
I think verses most definitely served its purpose for the time that we were in, meaning COVID. It was entertainment at the time, but that shit, you can't. That shit won't be relevant no more.
You ain't waiting for the new verses.
Like what new verses?
I think they was talking about was it Diddy and Jermaine at one point?
Yeah, they were supposed to. Diddy ain't finna do shit. You know what I'm saying? Man, one thing for sure, Diddy ain't giving a fuck about no verses right now.
Yeah, you got to for Mr. Fry. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It got showed me something.
All right, so after 3-6, it was the promotional thing. Did you manage any other artists in that time?
No, I did a lot of consulting. After I did the consultant, I ended up meeting this guy by the name of Mario Mills, you know what I'm saying? And he was bubbling. He had this record called Shout Out. And so by this time, my networking was strong, and I was the plug. Like, I take that back, yeah. I had put out Gangsta Black.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I had put out Gangsta Black, Haystack.
When you had a music room.
Yeah. Like, man, I don't know what the fuck. I skipped a whole part of my life. Yeah, I had Gangsta Black. I had Gangsta Black.
Haystack in the car.
I had the white boy Haystack from Nashville. Car full of white boys.
Car full of white.
That boy was bumping. Shout out to Haystack. Shout out to Gangsta Black. So I had those artists leading up to the Def Jam South shit. Yeah.
That's a big shit though. Shout out Gangsta Black, man. Real Memphis Legend. I know I grew up stealing my daddy's CDs and stuff like that.
But there was Bubba Lexus time.
Yeah.
Silver Bubba Lexus. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Excuse me.
If I'm not mistaken, what was that album he had? Something Southern? What was it? Was it Gangsta Black?
Gangsta Black had 74 minutes of bump. Can it be?
I know I stole one of them off the Pops, and that was my shit.
Probably the 74 minutes of bump or Can It Be.
You know how many CDs I stole out this man's car, bro? That man had every exclusive because everybody was giving him his day. Mine, nigga, I'm talking about niggas that never. Everybody, bro. Yeah. Everybody, there was somebody was sending him records, and he probably only played them once because me and my brother covered him up.
Or just, God have a story like. Gotti say like, because of me, he don't believe in street teams and promoters and consultants. He was like, man, shit, I saw what you do with the shit. You just let the shit sit in the motherfucking garage.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay. Garage full of gear. I'm talking about all the artists on Def Jam South.
So artists on Def Jam South, if I'm not mistaken, Def Jam South record roster was Big Boy, DJ Khaled, Young Jeezy, and Luda.
Hell no.
Nah.
Def Jam South was ludicrous. Yeah. So man, when I became vice president of Def Jam South, Luda was the DJ down in Atlanta at a club Kaya in Buckhead, man. I'm a young motherfucker. I just bought my first 745 BMW, man. Ludacris sat in my car, man. Just hand me the CD. Man, trying to get on, man. I'm looking at him like, man, so I go back to the office next day. I get a phone call from Kim Lyles. They asked me about this. You ever heard this rapper named Ludacris? I said, God damn it, this nigga was just in my car last night, man. Man, I dropped the ball on that motherfucker.
Oh, so you missed out on Lil. But did he end up doubling back though, right? Because they end up signing.
Yeah. But they signed him without me.
Okay, so you missed the bag on Lil. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. He was Chris Lobo at that time, man.
He was Chris Lobo on the radio.
Radio. Did he have a buzz though? Did you hear what?
Yeah, nigga, yeah. Cause you gotta think this when Atlanta was on fire and he was on the radio every night as the DJ. Then that nigga just put out a record that ended up blowing up. So yeah, that was one of my stories.
Man, shout out to Ludacris. Still doing this thing to this day. Cat Williams had some shit to say about
Cat Williams crazy.
I don't think Cat Williams lying about a lot of that shit he's saying.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna get into it, but yeah, he saying like he was speaking from a place of truth from some of this shit. But all right, back to Def Jam South. Like, what was your biggest challenges being so young, after just learning the business, having all of that ups and downs with 3-6, promotions, managing artists, consulting. Now you vice president of Def Jam South. What was like the biggest, things that you had to, I guess learn, or, what was the things that you had to deal with there, or challenges, if I can say.
Man, you had to pay your dues, man. Like, who I was in Memphis. Man, now I'm in the big league, man. I'm looking at Damian Dash, Gotti. These niggas putting out big multi-platinum artists, but Def Jam just saw something in me that, nigga, come on, we finna take you along for this ride. But it was just a whole different ball game and mindset, It made me just realize, I always use this analogy, like, you can take a little piece of paper. You can take a little piece of paper and you can pull off this little piece of paper right here, this little thing, and you can drop this motherfucker on the floor. And that little white little piece of paper, that little dot right there, that's Memphis. The rest of this whole floor and that gray shit, that's the world. Nigga, look at it. He ain't shit. He ain't shit. And that's what Kevin Lyles told me. The very first day he met me, man. I'm talking, man, I'm Peppa, man. I'm whooping this down, I'm doing this, man. I'm this in Memphis, man. Man, nigga, you can't tell me nothing. Man, that nigga pulled out a piece of paper, man. Threw it on the ground. The nigga said, nigga, that's you, that's Memphis. And all this other flow is the world. You ain't shit. And it stuck to me because I realized that, nigga. It's so much, this world so big.
That's some big names right there. Kevin Lyles, Leo Cohen, like names like that, juggernauts in the game. Like, is there any stories you have from them, like things that I know, obviously that one, but anything else that you learned from, being up under them?
It was just the motivation, the conversation, the shit, the talks they used to give me every day. You know what I'm saying? The talks they used to give me every day. So, I mean, just grooming, you know what I'm saying? But the older I became, the more I realized that I knew I wanted to be my own boss. You know what I'm saying?
So, from Def Jam South, how did that end, actually?
Gangsta Black was blowing up because I still had Gangsta Black. And so by this time I go get Gangsta Black a deal. Scarface called me one day. I'm in New York getting Gangsta Black a deal with Koch Records. Scarface called and asked me, what you doing? I said, shit, man, in New York getting this deal. He was like, what you mean? The nigga told me, you got too many irons in the fire. I said, what? Irons in the fire? Man, I'm trying to get like you. Man, you need to do your own thing. All right. That's how it ended.
So he wanted you to bring him over to Def Jam South?
Man, that and just, man, I'm trying to get this shit, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But, it didn't end bad. Like,
it was just business.
It was just business. And I learned stuff from it too, where you gotta understand it's about relationships and how you handle shit. So I could have handled that differently. But at the time I was a young nigga, I ain't give a fuck. Them folk finna give me in Gangsta Black. Well, them folk give about $70,000 to $80,000 up front. That wasn't shit. But it was goddamn more money than these folk giving me up front. But I ain't understand the value at the time. So overall though, you know, I don't regret it.
Sure, because you know, put you in place to move on and then connect with Gotti. Exactly. You gotta say is one of the biggest artists from Memphis or in the game, period, and especially in the realm of trap music. But so how did that come about with Gotti? You know, leave Def Jam South, still working with Gangsta Black. How did you stumble upon working with Gotti?
By this time, man, my relationships were so deep in the music business, so I became like the plug for the music business. So by this time, I'm looking for who hot. Rolled down on them in North Memphis on Garland Street. You know, them niggas was really selling dope and doing what they was supposed to be doing, what they was rapping about. I'm like, look, man, I'm trying to take you to New York, get you a deal. Guy was like, nigga, I'm straight. I'm like, man, come on, let me take you to New York. I'm straight. So I'm like, man, how the fuck I can convince this nigga to go to New York? So ended up telling him, man, shit, it's a free trip, man, take a brawl, some shit. And he thought about it, like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So we go to New York. I shopped this nigga like I knew this nigga for 20 years. I take that nigga to every record label. He really ain't giving a fuck because he getting money already. So I take him to every record label. Man, we end up going to TVT Records. That's when TVT had Lil Jon and Eastside Boy. Had a lot of people. And folk cut us up. Say about a $50,000 check. And Gotti took it. But Gotti, so that's why he's so smart. He knew that he needed that machine behind him, get that big exposure. It wasn't about the money. He never looked back.
What song was y'all shopping at this time?
Cheap price.
So was that the major thing behind Gotti? Like, what was the major thing? Of course, he had the music, but like you said, you pulling up on this nigga, he's selling dope, and he don't want to rap.
Well, he wanted to rap. He was just at the time he had his own way of doing his business.
So what was the thing about him that made you say, I want to work with you?
He had the hottest record. Yeah, that nigga was hot. Shawty was he was and that was my plug. I was supposed to go get motherfuckers and get them record deals if they was hot.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was hot from Memphis at the time.
So go from managing, well, you probably went through this, but managing groups and then managing solo artists. What was the difference within that?
Attitudes. You got to deal with 3 or 4 different attitudes, personalities.
And as a manager, was that hard, or was it some days where you like, man, you know what? This ain't even worth it.
My artists like, man, you got babysitter, man. You just, every day is something. You know what I'm saying? And it's you gotta have a passion for it. You know, it gotta be a real genuine friendship in a relationship, you know. And that's one thing that, you know, even with Gotti, we had became friends. So when I felt like it, he felt like his career was maxed out to more than what I can help him with, I understood and was acceptance of him going to get another manager. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we never fell out about that. And we most definitely still do business. I talk to him at least 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah.
All right. So, of course, like you said, building that personal relationship with Gotti, knowing him as a person, being a business partner. You know, y'all have to touch on it if you want to, but how did you feel when in 3-6 were having their differences?
That beef has always been something in hip hop.
Right.
So it wasn't nothing just really, I ain't no motherfucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas into that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but that they kept it on, wax. You know what I'm saying? What they call it. You know what I'm saying? LL Cool J, Kumo D beef, 50 Cent Ja Rule beef. Nelly and some motherfucker beef. Chingy. Everybody.
Jay-Z and Nas.
Jay-Z and Nas. So that's part of hip hop.
Sure.
You ever fuck Kid Shine?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. But we just had our own stuff going. Kid Shine, he made history too though. Shout out to Kid Shine, with a rap hustler. So, he came through Memphis and changed the game. So he most definitely is a Memphis living legend also.
Sir, that's one of our arguments from the past. We're gonna bring that up. But he's definitely a Memphis legend. Came through and had us wearing stunner frames and trying to get Fred's wearing the bezel and all that type of stuff. So he definitely brought that swag into the game, especially around here. But let's see what we'll get into. We already kind of talked about the partnership with Gotti, but the business structure, how you mentioned it before, like with managers, getting the artist to a certain level and then them eventually part ways. But then you try to structure it more as a partnership. I think that was like one of the first times that I've really heard people, and I kind of took that to myself when I was doing things. That's the first time I heard people of a manager going at it about that instead of just like saying, hey, I'm gonna help you get here, but no, I'm gonna invest in you. We're gonna be partners in this thing and we're gonna do a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, that's kind of the best way to do it now because it's just, the manager, you put so much work in it on the front end, but what's the value of it? Then when the artist gets a 6-figure deal, you ain't getting them 10, 20%. So I put in all this motherfucking, you put in all this motherfucking work for 2 to 3, 5 years. Let's say an average of 2 or 3 years. So it's to finally get a $250,000 check. That's at the minimum. Let's say you get $1 million check, because that's like what the going rate is now. If you hot, you at least get $1 million. But the manager ain't getting nothing but, let's say you get 10%, $100,000. So over the last 3 or 4 years, you divide that by 3. Now that means you ain't paid yourself number, what, $30,000 a year?
You probably invested more than that.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So with that being said, with having the music is just one stream right now. It's about having multiple streams of income. So I think you have ventured on into real estate and things like that. So can you kind of speak on like this?
So I flip houses. I have lots I buy, build, flip them, or sell. My APW agency, I have clients, Shelby County Schools. I do all their community engagement. I run arena down in Tunica. My company manages that. I produce Memphis May, all the black urban artists. I produce Memphis Madness. I produce different college homecomings, TSU homecoming, University of Memphis homecoming, Austin P homecoming. I just ventured into District 12 nightclub, just became an investor in that. So, you just got to have diversified revenue streams coming in just to keep shit going.
How is it when you doing like they do the BSC Music Festival? Like when you trying to book that joint, how do you, is it just one phone call? You tell like, hey bro, I need everybody.
Nah, you gotta see, first you know what your budget is, and then once you know what your budget is, it's a lot of negotiating, going back and forward, wheeling and dealing, brokering, and then, once you try to fit all the artists within your budget, and then you just try to see what artists fit this market at the time, who really hot or who was hot in this market. But no, it ain't no one phone call, man. It's a lot of back and forth.
I figured that artists are always talking about their booking prices and things like that, but I wonder how many times do they really just, get that? Yeah,
I mean, it's most definitely negotiable, but you got to be within the ballpark.
Right.
You're going to be within the ballpark, and you try to get everything for one price. Like, they have to take care of their travel, they hotel, everything. Yeah.
So, speaking of the partnership with the city of Memphis, that the campaign, the Billboard campaign for Shelby County Schools, that was a big thing at one point.
A lot of people didn't like that I put Yo Gotti on the billboards. They said he want a product of public school, but actually they say he want no role model, and actually he is. More kids walk down the street in North Memphis, recognize your Gotti than they do a doctor or a lawyer, because they the product of their environment. And so when the people got to talking about it, my job was done. That was the whole purpose of the campaign. Get people talking about Shelby County schools and the product of school.
And they did.
And they started doing it. Yeah, they did.
So, all right, so we got the real estate, we got work with Shelby County schools, but we even got liquor. That's something that everybody's getting into now. You've had a couple of liquor deals.
Moneybag, we did a deal with Valon. And so liquor deals are just as promising if the liquor just really sells, you know what I'm saying? But it takes so long for that liquor to really jump off, you know what I'm saying? You got to build that brand first. But I also did the Moneybag Yo Rap Snacks deal. We put out 4 chips. I just left from down in Miami. We finna do some candy with him, them gummies, them Sour Patch gummies. Yeah, so we finna do that. I was part of Rick Ross Rap Snacks deal.
What's your relationship with Ross, good? Because I see you kind of, y'all got a...
Yeah, so I'm real cool with his sister, his mama, and just he there, as my if I ever need him and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
I when I used to work at Range Rover, I used to see his sister and his mama. They in the city. Yeah, they're crazy.
His whole operation out of South Haven.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, we can talk all day about everything, but I'm kind of just gonna run through. So you had a touring company at one point, right? Mm-hmm. You worked with New Edition on that touring company as well as Gotti with the IM tour and all of that.
Right.
Crumpies on Wheels. I don't know how you feel about that.
Crumpers on Wheels. Crumpers on Wheels, that was one of my business investments, worst investment I've made in my life. Only because the food truck business is an owner-operator type business. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be on that motherfucker working. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a owner-operator type business.
How did you, when we was doing the government phone stuff?
Word of mouth, people heard about me and
Insurance, right?
Yeah, Assurance Wireless. Yeah, I had them free government cell phone.
But that was something big, though. I ain't gonna lie. Throughout, your time and me researching you, I always see a connection to giving back to the community.
Oh yeah, you always gotta get back, man. You always gotta get back. You can't never be too big. You can't never be too big to forget about the people who helped you get where you at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always gonna do some sort of community event, give back, and all that type stuff.
Sure. So a couple more questions. We ain't gonna hold you too much longer, but how would you say you've changed from, early life, starting a career and all of that until now?
Most definitely more, I got a long way to go, but much more laid back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm focused on my own mission, my purpose, what I'm trying to do, what I got going on. I don't really care about what nobody say about me, what they doing, like trying to press a motherfucker, like my life straight. I'm set. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm just focused on Peppa, like, not giving a damn about what's going on around me. Just, pick my goals, what my purpose is, understanding I have learned my purpose in life. Once you learn your purpose in life and your passion, you chase that shit and you just roll with it. Not caught up in the hype. Because a bunch of these niggas out here flogging, lying. They ain't got shit. They ain't doing nothing.
Definitely wise words right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, is there any advice that you can give to the uncle couples out here, young guys who like, man, I don't really want to be a rapper. I want to be a businessman. I want to be a manager. I want to be a business owner, entrepreneur.
First, just know, once again, know what your purpose and passion in life is. Once you know what that is and stay true and genuine to yourself, keep God first. Stay focused, see the big picture. The world could be against you, man, as long as you keep God first. With God on your side, the world can be against you. That's it.
That's a wrap.
How long we do this interview? How long?